Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to invite everyone to please bow your head. Heavenly Father, we thank you for blessing us by bringing us all together today. We ask that you provide the strength, wisdom, and guidance to everyone affected by Hurricane Harvey, and we pray for the continued outreach of support. We pray that everyone can open their hearts and minds to do what is right to help those affected by any natural disaster. We ask for the wisdom and foresight for any and all decisions we make as a commission and to do what is right and just for the people we serve. We also ask that with all senseless violence around the country, that you give those involved the vision and strength to find peaceful ways to have their voices heard, look over and protect the innocent, especially our children. We graciously ask that you continue for your continued blessings and pray for the safety of all those that serve our country, state, and this great nation. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I talk real slow, Spiz will be back here to take the next motion, and he can have the gavel back.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from August 23rd, 2017. Moved by Teets, supported by Zach. Questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'm going to move on to the approval of agenda. With that, I'll call on the Majority Caucus Chair, Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move the agenda as presented.
Great. So moved by Taub, supported by McGilvery. Any comments or questions on the agenda? Seeing none, roll call, please.
On the agenda, Commissioners Bowman.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dwyer.
Yes.
Fleming.
Yes.
Gershenson. Jackson. Kokendorfer. Kowal. Long.
Yes.
McGilvery.
Yes.
Middleton.
Yes.
Quarles. Spiz.
Yes.
Taub. Teets. Weipert. Woodward. Zach.
Yes.
Berman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. Agenda is approved as presented. With that, we'll move on to the communications, and I will call a public hearing for the multi-development 2017 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program subrecipient agreement and grant application open at 7:11. Anyone here to speak specifically on this matter? Seeing none, I will go ahead and close that public hearing. Next, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing for the Department of Economic Development and Community Affairs Planning and Economic Development Services Division resolution approving the issuance of refunding bonds, Orchard Lake Schools Project, City of Orchard Lake Village. Open at 7:12. Anybody here to speak specifically on this matter? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close that public hearing. Next, we'll move on to one of our proclamations for tonight, and with that, I'll call on Commissioner Taub.
This is a very important day for both Judge Alexander and myself. For me, giving Judge James Alexander the Hilda Gay Judicial Excellence Award proclamation is a double, I guess, wonderful thing for me, because I was a Brownie, and so was Judge Gage. We grew up together. We went to Hampton School. We went to Mumford High School, and we went to the University of Michigan together. So it is such a pleasure, and she was such a great woman, and to this day, most of us, those of us who knew her, do miss her. But the other part is that I first met Judge Alexander before he was a judge, and way before he was a judge, in the early 90s. And it was the only time that I can recall, even to this day, that he ever did anything, had a poor judgment call, I should say. Now, I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas the enforcement of law and justice in Oakland County is a critical component of protecting the quality of life that we enjoy and hold dear in our communities. And whereas we are all indebted to those individuals, such as Judge James Alexander, who not only take on the responsibility for creating a just and lawful society, but who go above and beyond, that's okay, you're worth it, in their efforts to maintain a fair and effective justice system in Oakland County. And whereas Judge Alexander was appointed to the Oakland County Circuit Court by Governor John Engler in August of 2001 and is currently assigned to the Oakland County Business Court, he was Chief Judge Pro Tem from 2005 to 2009 and presiding judge of the Family Division from 2004 to 2008. In addition, Judge Alexander was president of the Michigan Judges Association in 2010 and chair of the Michigan Judicial Council, of which he is still a member, in 2015. This is one of his faults, not his main one, though. He is a graduate of Miami University, not my school, and the University of Detroit Law School. And whereas in recognition of his exemplary service, Judge James Alexander has been the recipient of many awards, including the OCBA Francis Avadenka and Public Servant of the Year Awards and the OCRC John O'Brien Award. Judge Alexander adds another prestigious honor to this list as he recently received the 2017 Hilda Gage Judicial Excellence Award from the Michigan Judges Association. Whereas named after the late Judge Hilda Gage, the Hilda Gage Judicial Excellence Award recognizes circuit court and Court of Appeal judges who have excelled in trial and docket management, legal scholarship, and contributions to their profession and the community. We join with his family, his wife Lynn is here, friends and colleagues of Judge Alexander to congratulate him on this tremendous honor. Judge Alexander, congratulations to you.
Oh, wow. It's the first time I've ever gotten a standing ovation from that side of the aisle. Thank you very much. Let me just begin by saying that the lack of judgment or lack of prescience, maybe it is, that Commissioner Taub was talking about was the first night I met her. We may have been standing in the back of this auditorium, and she walked up to me. I was chairman of the Republican Party at that point, and she said, "I'm Shelley Taub, and I'm going to be the next commissioner." And I said, "No, you're not." I was also the guy who said to Gorska, "You'll never beat that guy if you can't pronounce your name." So we've come a long way since then. Thank you very much, Commissioner, and thank you all for this honor. Hilda Gage was a mentor of mine. When I got the award, I told the group that when I was on the governor's staff, Hilda would call me every day and say, "You gonna be a judge?" And I go, "No, I don't want to be a judge." And she'd say, "Wrong answer." And when I did get appointed, she was one of the mentors and she's one of the finest human beings I ever knew in my life, and was an inspiration to all of us. I love my job. I love working in Oakland County. I'm glad that my colleague and your former colleague, Judge Mattis, is here with us tonight. But it's a ball. I've still got some time left. I intend to continue doing it, working with the best bench in Michigan and some of the finest public servants that you'll ever meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Taub. Next, we have another proclamation. With that, I'm going to call on Commissioner Zach, Commissioner Quarles, and Commissioner Jackson.
So I want to start off I had the opportunity a couple months ago of going to an opening of an expansion of Valentine Vodka. And if you recall, we honored Rufino Valentine here for starting his business in Ferndale because Ferndale was easier to work with than the city of Detroit. So I had the opportunity to go to another event there in their manufacturing piece that was highlighting the MEDC program of the redevelopment ready communities. And when I saw that, I said, this is really wonderful, and started looking at Ferndale, Southfield, and Lathrop, our 3 MEDC certified programs that are in our region in Oakland County. And what this program does, it's high priority redevelopment areas throughout the state, and it's really here to streamline the development process and provide transparency, predictability, and the best practices in development. And this includes a strategic plan and many other best practices. And so we are honoring our 3 cities in Oakland County that are doing this. And I'd like to call our representatives from the city of Ferndale, Southfield, and Lathrop up here so that we can honor you further. I'm very proud, and I want to recognize our former colleague and commissioner, and I used to sit next to him, Mayor Dave Coulter, to come here and be part of this award. And so with that, okay, so I don't really want to read this whole thing, but I do want to just talk about this. It was May 15th that Ferndale was certified by MEDC as a redevelopment ready committee, and it really, and I highlighted some of the things that it does. So. Okay, so, you have to, I don't want to read all this, but you really do have to go through, in Ferndale, they started in 2014 with this rigorous assessment. And so you have to, it's like going for any other certification. And they achieved it, and now they have a strategic plan for development and meet the best practices. And I have to tell you, if you came to the Ferndale City Council meetings and saw all of the beautiful businesses and development happening, we should all be proud in Oakland County. So rather than read this, now therefore Michael J. Gingell, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Helene Zach in Oakland County, do hereby congratulate the City of Ferndale for being a certified redevelopment ready committee. We thank them for their ongoing efforts to advance the economic growth and prosperity of Oakland County and to enhance the quality of life for all its residents. Let's do Ferndale first, and then we'll do the other communities. And I want to invite.
Let's go here. Right here. Right here. Whereas in June 2014, following a rigorous assessment by the RRC team, the City of Ferndale worked diligently to achieve the criteria laid out in the RRC best practices, which is designed to establish a deliberate, fair, and consistent development process. The City of Ferndale's master plan update was a critical component of their certification. The MEDC noted that the Ferndale Master Plan went through an exemplary process of public engagement and remarked that it was something the city should be immensely proud of. Additionally, the City of Ferndale implemented a skills assessment and training program for its appointed officials and development staff, packaged redevelopment-ready sites, and created a unified branding strategy to guide the use of its logo, voice, and marketing partnerships.
So, I think that we've got the gist and we can honor. Let's have our representatives from Ferndale talk about it.
Well, I'll be really brief. It is great to be back. I had as she mentioned, as Commissioner Zach mentioned, I had the privilege of serving in this chamber for 8 years. It's great, and with many of you, and I have to say, none of us have aged a day, so it's wonderful. I also want to say the coffee is still really lousy, so but mostly what I want to say is that when I was here, I learned that there's some things that Oakland County does right, and I think economic development is one of them. I served for several terms on the Planning and Building Committee, learned many of the practices that I've brought back to Ferndale, was fortunate that I found like-minded allies in our Mayor Pro Tem, Melanie Piana, and in our Economic Development Director, Jordan Torti, who understood the value of economic development, and we've taken it to heart, and we've run with it. And so thank you for honoring us. Appreciate it.
Okay. Another city that we're going to honor tonight is the city of Southfield. The city of Southfield began its process in 2014 as well, and has done well. I'll just read the last paragraph again. Now therefore, Michael J. Gingell, the chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Commissioners Janet Jackson, Nancy Quarles, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, want to thank you for your ongoing support and encourage you to continue your economic growth and the prosperity that you're bringing to Oakland County.
Thank you very much. Going through the redevelopment ready process was very rigorous, but it's definitely paid off in its dividends. And if you just come through the Southfield City Hall in front of Evergreen Road, you see all the new development that we have, and we have people flocking and coming to Southfield knowing that it's going to be an easy and quick process to start up their business and become development ready. So thank you.
Along with this, and this practice, is the city of Lathrop Village. And I'm glad that the Mayor Brock and Councilwoman Donna Stallings, as well as, although he's not up here, is the assistant, I'm looking for him, Ken Martin. Oh. He's busy. Yeah. This is the city manager. Oh, okay. Ken Martin is here. I want to thank you for all the work that you've done. I know this is quite an honor. Please know that we appreciate what you're doing and that you're laying the blueprint for other cities. So I would like to invite Mayor to say a few words about your program as well.
Thank you, Nancy. So it's nice to be honored for doing what we're supposed to be doing, I guess. So that's we appreciate the recognition. Lathrop Village is kind of an interesting study when you look at it, because while it's been in existence for quite a few years now, it's been divided by two major highways, Southfield Road and, of course, 696. So it split the city in about 4 quadrants. So presented some very unique challenges. Southfield Road, our friends at the Oakland County Road Commission like to believe it exists mainly to move cars as fast as they can make a move between Birmingham and Detroit, I guess. But at any rate, it was recognition of this division and the difficulty of making a city that's divided the way we are into a more walkable and friendly community is what drove our efforts and is what we've concentrated on in our plans. And our strategic plan and so on has been designed to try and bring about the ability to bring our city, in essence, back together and then to breathe new life into our business district. So we're very pleased with the way the plans have shaped up, and we're excited to be in the process of implementing them. So again, thank you again for this recognition.
I also want to recognize some Mayor Pro Tem Melanie Piana from Ferndale, and I understand that she was part of piloting the best practices way back when, and working with a nonprofit and the state. So this is really part of her creation. And I want to recognize the Ferndale Economic and Development head, Jordan Twardy, and some of you may remember him from the 8 Mile Boulevard Association prior to coming to Ferndale. And so he's just doing great things there, and thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody. Wait. I'm not real good for time. Okay, there it is.
Thank you all for what you do for your communities and what you do for Oakland County, and thank you, commissioners. Next, we have a short presentation. With that, I'll call on Commissioner Kokendorfer. Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Oakland University football. When I was a student at OU, I never thought I'd actually be saying those words in the same sentence. When I was actually student body president, about 5 of every 10 questions I ever received was, when is Oakland University going to get a football team? And I didn't make that happen, but this gentleman did. I've got Coach Tom Manas with me. They have done incredible things. I wanted to bring him here tonight to give you an update, just because I think this is very important, actually, for the county and for Oakland University. They started up the football club 4 years ago. We never had one before, In 4 years' time, they've won 2 national championships. They've lost 4 games. It's incredible what they've been able to do, and I want to give this group an update and let you just ask how we can support you in any way we can, Coach.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate it. It may seem like a inconsequential thing when so many good people, well-deserving people, are being honored here tonight. But I want to educate you a little bit on Oakland University's football program. Yes, we have a football program. The best kept secret in the United States, apparently. But we do have a football program. And like many football programs that you're very familiar with, like University of Michigan, like Notre Dame, Alabama, they all started as clubs. And many professional teams started as clubs. The Cleveland Browns, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, clubs, just like ours. So when we were asked to participate in the NCFA, which is the National Club Football Association, my first inclination coming in was, what's that? I have no idea. But it's teams like the University of Florida, University of North Carolina, Ohio State, Michigan State, University of Michigan. They all have club programs. A lot of these schools use it as a starting point for their athletes to go up into their varsity. Great. In our situation, our players come here to not only go to school, but to represent and play football for Oakland University. When you've all heard the myth, if you haven't, let me share it with you. 60 years ago, when Mrs. Dodge founded Oakland University, it was said that she would have never allowed contact sports to take place on the campus. Okay? Not true. Never said it, but a cool legend. So 4 years ago, we started the program, and when we started the program, it was started by a student, David Broski. Just filled out the paperwork, begged a lot of people, did all the things right, and here we are several years later, 4 years later. And like Adam said, we were into a situation where we've only lost 4 football games. We won over close to 40. We've won 2 national championships. I won Coach of the Year last year. We had Defensive Player of the Year. We have the best defense in the country the last 3 years. And this is competing against Ohio State, Miami, Michigan, everybody that you can imagine. The most important part about my job is not to build football players. The most important part of my job is to build good citizens. And I want to make you aware of the players that I have on my teams. This year, we've embraced this Veterans Hospital, Grace Centers of Hope, charities, high schools, elementary schools, community service, senior centers. These are young men that are going out and do that. We just came into a partnership with a new foundation that's been around a while, but new for us. We're going to now be wearing a yellow ribbon on the back of our helmet representing the Yellow Ribbon Fund for disabled veterans for their service dogs, which is an Oakland County resident who started that. When the program started to develop, now if you follow us on Facebook, we went from a couple hundred people to over 15,000 every time we post something. It's starting to build. And it's important for the citizens and the residents of Oakland County to know this and take great pride in it, I think. You have a football team. You have a college football team in Oakland County. You don't have to drive to Ann Arbor. You don't have to go to East Lansing. On Saturday, you can go to Oakland University and see a great football team and have a great football experience for free. We don't charge people to come and see us. We want families to come. We want it to be part of their Saturday or their weekend experience. We've opened up tailgating this year because this is the first year we'll be on campus. So we're going to have a little tailgate alley, the whole bit, just like if you went anywhere else. Same quality of football, same atmosphere. And I would personally like to invite all the residents of Oakland County to come and share with us in your football team. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Adam. Next, we'll move on to the public comment section of our agenda, and I see we have a few people that signed up. So if you didn't get a chance to sign up, we will call you up to the mic if you're so interested to speak. But first up, we have Pam Sortle. Oh, and also, there is a nice little timer up here that we limit your comments to 3 minutes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners and Chairman. My name is Pam Sordell. I'm founder of Puppy Mill Awareness of Southeast Michigan. And we're showing these awful photos again tonight. We decided to come back because we really want an update on the case. We want to know if the case in Farmington Hills, this is a golden retriever breeding, hoarding situation. We want to know if the case is still open. We want to know if it's on the shelf. And we want to know if we're waiting for a November close date. Residents from across the county are attending tonight. If you could please stand. Not everyone's going to speak. We're all here because we want the animals removed immediately. These are deplorable conditions. These photos here show neglect. I know they're painful to look at, but we expect prosecution, and we want all the animals removed. The Farmington Hills Police Report on July 29th reported 49 dogs. That includes puppies, cats, birds, ducks, and chickens. So there's a wide variety of animals that need to be removed. You can clearly see this is a hoarding situation. If you look closely inside the house, there is an outdoor kennel too, and animals were housed in the basement as well. We want prosecution, and we want probation terms that include restriction on animals. Unfortunately, it's not a crime, but it is the only way to protect the animals is to prosecute these kind of cases with probation terms that include restriction on animals, access to all the properties, and restitution for the rescues. There is no 10-day law that requires officers to wait for cleanup. There's no law that says that. And there's no law that says animals have to be in immediate danger. Please erase that from your mind. Animal neglect is if the conditions impact their health. Our laws are really clear. These conditions are impacting their health. 9 dogs needed medical treatment. So I think you've been misled on what the laws are. So I wanted you to maybe look at these photos after the meeting. We'll leave them up here. And we plan to keep coming, and we're actually organizing committee meetings in Farmington Hills regularly to discuss this case and what citizens can do to, we're going to work on petitions, and eventually we'll end up with billboards. I'm not sure where we're going to go with this, but we have regular attendance and lots of support to make this happen. We're going to focus on hoarding on Friday. We're going to do a presentation about animal hoarding, and we encourage you to stop by and look at these photos after the meeting, and help us protect the animals somehow. So if you could give us an update on where the case is, we definitely don't want this to be put on the shelf, and we want them to be removed immediately. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Next, we have Betty Curran.
Yes, my name is Betty Curran. I'm on the board of Golden Retriever Rescue of Michigan, and we have some of our members here tonight with us. We are also here to support these Goldens that are in these deplorable conditions, as you can see on these pictures. We are also here to let you know that we can take these dogs once the shelter has the right to go in and get them, and with restitution we will do so. We don't buy dogs. We will help these dogs once we've gotten the restitution for that. But we will find homes. We will find safe, good, clean homes that these dogs deserve. And the prosecutor does need to expedite this case and put this owner out of business. This is certainly deplorable, and it is abuse. And we are here to help, and we will continue to support and be here, and we will do everything we can to get this to happen, and we'll stay with it till it's done. All of these rescue groups that are part of us. So I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Linda Hassan.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Linda Hassan. I ran for District 5 Pontiac City Council, and I'm here tonight to thank Oakland County, Lisa Brown, the Board of Canvassers, for how quickly they did the recount and how it came back. Of course, the votes were still there. I was 4 shy of winning, but not bad for my first time out. The reason why I also was interested in this process was because I testified. I did not vote for Jill Stein, but I testified in Lansing to find out about what was in the ballot boxes. I had been monitoring the elections in Oakland County and different areas of the state of Michigan for years. I wanted to know what was going on. So I testified. I had brought stuff to Chris Thomas, and he had believed and wanted to have these conversations. And so the recount commenced for President Trump and the Jill Stein recount. What I had found during the recount was that the city of Pontiac had had several precincts that could not be recounted. So this was very important to me as somebody who ran for office to find out if these precincts could be counted. And I think that it's very good that we had this process, because we need to understand and make sure that our votes are in there. For whatever reason, several precincts in Pontiac could not be counted, recounted. I witnessed some of them, and it was that there was ballots missing, things didn't add up with the poll book, different issues. So to me, not only because I believed I was aggrieved and I could have won, this process was very important for me to trust the system. And I think that this was good for Oakland County. I think it was good for the city of Pontiac. And I think it was good for the state of Michigan as well, because I sat there firsthand. I testified. I went through the process. I went to go see what was in the ballot boxes and could not see. So thank you very much, and thank you for your professionalism in this matter.
Thank you. Next, we have Tom Worth.
My name is Tom Worth. I live at Rose Township, 11455 Stallion Lane. Again, 10 years ago, I became familiar with Mary Gabriel, owner-operator of Chent DRs, which you have pictures up here, which I urge everyone to see that. 10 years ago, she was running Chent DRs in Farmington Hills. She also moved in a house next door to me and started a puppy mill there, the grossest of which I have never seen in my life. She moved from there back to Farmington Hills. I asked you to stop this. Don't relocate her somewhere else in Oakland County. Do not allow her to move from Farmington Hills to another spot in Oakland County, such as my neighbor. She still owns a house there. Mary Gabriel is a very capable liar, and she has convinced many honorable, good people like you people of her stories and stuff. I asked you to see these pictures. Come and view these pictures, and they're probably pictures that were taken after she cleaned up. Thank you.
Thank you. That's everyone that signed up for public comment, but if there's anybody else out in the audience who would like to speak, please come to the mic, state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next part of our agenda, which will be reports of standing committees, and with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda, moved by Kowal, supported by Bowman. Any comments or questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none, roll call, please.
On the consent agenda, Commissioners Crawford?
Yes.
Dwyer?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Gershenson? Jackson? Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal? Yes. Long?
Yes.
McGilvray? Yes. Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Vipert?
Yes.
Woodward? Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman? Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. The consent agenda has been approved. Moving on to the regular agenda, we have no reports from Finance Committee. We have no reports from the General Government Committee, nothing from the Human Resources Committee. Therefore, I'll call on the Chairman of the Planning and Building Committee, Commissioner Weipert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight we have one item. It is miscellaneous resolution, Department of Central Services leased vehicles, a donation of 2 Dodge Durango special service vehicles. I'd ask that be referred to Finance.
Without objection, refer to Finance. Commissioner Weipert.
That completes the report of the Planning and Building Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Weipert.
Thank you.
We do no additional information from the Public Services Committee, no reports of special committees, no special orders of business, no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new and miscellaneous business, and I believe there's a couple of resolutions out there to be presented. Commissioner Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one resolution that I would like to introduce, and it is supporting the Ban the Box initiative to remove the inquiry off of of criminal records off of the employment applications for Oakland County.
Without objection, refer to Human Resources. Commissioner Quarles.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. My second resolution is for recognizing September as Suicide Prevention Month in Oakland County. I would like to request that the rules be suspended since this is September, so we can move this forward.
Okay. So we have a motion by Quarles, supported by Kokendorfer to suspend the rules. It's a non-debatable motion, so with that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. To suspend the rules.
On suspension of the rules, Commissioners Dwyer?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Gershenson? Jackson? Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal? Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton? Quarles?
Yes.
Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets? Wipert?
Yes.
Woodward? Zach? Berman?
Yes.
Bowman? Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. The rules have been suspended. Commissioner Quarles.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I would like to bring forth the vote for recognizing September as Suicide Awareness Month.
Moved by Quarles, supported by Crawford. Any other discussion on the motion? Commissioner Taub.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I'm not certain whether everyone has had the opportunity to sign the resolution, whose names are on it or who want to sign, who haven't sponsored it. So will it be available for them to sign right after this meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
I didn't see it.
All right, any other discussion about the motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
On the resolution, Commissioners Fleming?
Yes.
Gershenson? Jackson? Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal? Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles?
Yes.
Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets? Wipert?
Yes.
Woodward? Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman? Crawford?
Yes.
Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Thank you.
Any other resolutions or new or miscellaneous business to come before us? Commissioner Gershenson.
Thank you. I know at the last meeting, several commissioners asked for an update on what was happening with the kennel in Farmington Hills, and I have not received any information. So I'd like to request Commissioner, oh my God, Dwyer, sorry, maybe at the next public service meeting on Tuesday that you get an update so you can fill everybody in on what's going on. Thank you.
And if I could answer that briefly, I do have a brief update. and I was going to give it out after this to all you commissioners, but since you asked publicly, I'll give it. It is still going through the process, and based on the process, I understand that November 20th, she will no longer have a kennel at that location. That is the current process.
So we don't have to debate this right here, but that is the way it's always been. That's not addressing.
That is correct. There has to be further discussion by either Public Service or another committee to address if anything else can be done.
Thank you.
But it's following the process through legal right now. Any announcements? Commissioner Middleton.
Yes, the Finance Committee has passed the executive recommended budget with amendments, and at our next meeting that we will vote on that. It's a 3-year budget, over $800 million, and so it'd be a good meeting to come to. But it'll be on the agenda with a public hearing and then a vote on the resolution to accept the executive recommended budget with amendments.
Thank you, Commissioner Middleton. Any other announcements? Seeing none, I'll call us adjourned till September 28, 2017 at 9:30 a.m. or the call of the chair.